Thank you guys for coming on board and spending the afternoon with us. This is kind of a topic we have kind of worked similar to this before, but I've added a couple wrinkles to this, kind of extrapolated it out, premium savings invested, the difference, etc. This just comes on the heels again of just a lot of these hybrids being a large part of our industry now, and again, they're here to stay. They're a great product for many scenarios. So I'm pleased that we have in our industry. Just some situations are kind of be used, I guess, misused in some areas. So that's kind of the premise behind it. So we're just going to basically break these things down and compare them side by side with other products out there and other strategies. So I do like this seminar. I get a little impassioned about it because it is kind of eye-opening. The first time I started looking at the numbers, it kind of surprised me. So I hope you'll find that as well. So my name is Jeff Clark. I'm a regional director here with Golden Care USA. I've been with Golden Care for a little over 25 years now. It's hard to believe that much time, but so at the beginning of my career, I really spent selling long-term care. I started on long-term care. I learned that product first. I eventually started selling other products, supplements, annuities, etc. But I really did start and exclusively sold long-term care my first couple of years. And I guess over the 25 years period, I've written about 780 long-term care policies or so with all the carriers, you name it, over the last 20 years or so, 25 years. So, but now my job is to basically compare, contrast, look at long-term care plans, compare one to the other. Which plan's better? Which plan's got a cash benefit? Which has better marital discounts? What plan's going to be better if I have a certain health condition, lupus or osteoporosis, or maybe my health isn't that good. Maybe I have to not look at a long-term care. I have to look at a short-term care plan. Or then, of course, the advent of these hybrid life and long-term care combo plans. So I basically break down long-term care industry products all the time. And so I help my brokers with designing and running into whatever they're running into. So whether they are looking for a comparison and they have a married couple that's healthy in their 50s or a widowed lady with osteoporosis and a compression fraction in their mid-70s, Golden Care is going to help you find the right products, help you with proposals, make you look real good. So the topic that I kind of got into is this hybrid. And when I say hybrid, and most of you probably know, it's the life, usually a universal life of some kind, with a long-term care rider built in there. So if you do need long-term care before you die, you can use that death benefit in the form of $5,000 a month or what have you as a long-term care benefit. So, and this, of course, is the big solution that people have. So, if I pay premiums to die in my sleep, I never need it, what happens then? So that's kind of, in my opinion, the biggest advent of those is where they kind of came from. But so let's go ahead and get started with this. And I think, I'm not going to go through every example. You will get a copy of the PowerPoint. So what you'll notice is I'm going to really try to take it slow on the first example to make sure that you guys are following or tracking with what I'm doing. Well, there it goes. Okay. Wait. Okay, we're here. All right. So again, my name is Jeff Clark, and again, Golden Care, all that kind of stuff. Dispelling the claim of having solved use it or lose it. Okay, I haven't seen this for a while. I've been on my soapbox about this, but we as an agency, we've had feelers out. We have lead generation websites. We have mailers that our different brokers do over the country, associations, and I can just tell you that with COVID and the fact that people are terrified about going to a nursing home, we know that 3 out of 4 people that died from COVID during the pandemic, and at least in Canada, interesting in America, the stats vary depending on what your state you're in. But essentially, this was a disease that really affected facilities. And people knew this. 61% of people surveyed say that they'd rather die than go to a nursing home. Well, you're 11 times more likely to die if you received your care inside of a facility than you were at home. These are all stats based on a Harris poll that was taken. That also the same Harris poll mentioned that 89% of Americans consider looking at long-term care and insurance now a very important part of retirement. That number is up. I can tell you that our lead generators, like I mentioned earlier, the web-based ones where we get internet leads, they've never been hit so much. And there's 1.6 months ago that we had so many leads coming here. I don't know, something like 70, 80 leads a day, more than our people could handle, because obviously long-term care is a longer sales cycle. And we have at least, 20 diehard, long-term care specialists, ninjas in our career shop, and they have more leads than they know what to do with. So it is on people's mind. So if you if you have a client base, maybe you're mainly a Medicare person, maybe you do more life or annuities, or if you need some type of a prospecting letter, just says, hey, a lot of people are thinking about long-term care right now. We can include a couple articles about COVID. We've got a nice COVID marketing pack put together. So if you really want to, if you've not done much marketing in regards to long-term care, maybe you don't know it well enough, maybe you didn't think it'd be received well, I can promise you that right now people are chomping at the bit to hear about long-term care. They're worried, they're nervous, and they really do want an agent to reach out to them, at least mention it to them. So I would surmise or suggest that you guys should go ahead and do a little more offering of long-term care. You'd be surprised at how good results you're going to come up with. Fact of the matter is long-term care has, the demand for long-term care has never been higher. In my 25 years, I haven't seen this much reception towards long-term care. For whatever reason, people are very interested. And again, I think it has a lot to do with COVID. But I think a lot of these baby boomers are taking care of mom and dad and finding out firsthand how expensive it is and time consuming and emotionally draining. And so I think there's kind of two forces working. You've also got Washington State that mandated the use of long-term care. They're going to tax you and take it out of your paycheck anyways. So that really kind of put long-term care in the forefront, and that's coming across the country. More and more states, New York and California are talking, Illinois or Michigan, I think it is, not Illinois, Michigan, are talking about doing a similar thing. So I think that's coming. So the demand for long-term care is going to grow. But what's interesting out here, and let me get to the topic at hand. 10 years ago, and this little saying I have here on top, there is no number one product, strategy, one universal way of going about solving a long-term care or potential long-term care need issue. There's not one product that does everything for every situation. There are lots of different ways to solve this problem. Okay, I'll be very clear about that. 10 years ago, for every hybrid sold, there was 5 traditional long-term care policies sold. 5 to 1 for traditional. 10 short years later, and nowadays, there are 5 hybrids sold for every 1 traditional long-term care policy. Why is that? Well, I'm going to go about trying to answer that today. To me, if you follow the money, it's pretty simple. But so in other words, we're down to about 3 or 4 companies that are going to offer long-term care and a brokerage agent out there. There's a couple other group policies still alive, but essentially you don't have much left in this market. And every single company out there is launching some type of hybrid right now. And again, why is that? We'll come back to that. Okay. So I mentioned that hybrids are a good fit sometimes. There are situations, sorry, let me just have a life or annuity contracts sitting there. It's dead money, $150,000. They can't do anything with it. No surrender fees, no additional interest in it, so it's just dead. It's sitting there. It's got to be moved. 1035 exchange of some kind. So if you're repositioning an old life or annuity contract, park $150,000 into one of these hybrids, makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Instead of having your money sitting there doing nothing for you, you might as well park it in some type of a life or annuity-based hybrid product, so you have some long-term care protection. Uninsurable health risks. This is coming up more and more. I just had a discussion with my state manager here in our career shop. We write quite a bit of long-term care out there. I think those guys write, anywhere from $100,000 a month to $200,000 a month of long-term care, and it's tough. A lot of stuff gets declined, and so they're finding there are some spots that a hybrid will accept a health risk that maybe a long-term care company won't. And so again, that doesn't surprise me based on some of the fact that long-term care companies are getting out and hybrids are moving towards the market. More of this, okay? So the long-term care companies are getting a little tough in underwriting. So that sometimes is a good reason to use a hybrid. Sometimes people desire to use they want to receive 100% cash benefit for whatever reason. I get it. I mean, you want to be able to pay family members, friends. You don't want any restrictions. It's pure cash. A couple of traditional long-term care companies tried that. MedAmerica, Prudential had a cash benefit for a while. That was very hard come claim time. So those were extremely hard on the companies. They had to charge a lot of premium. Long story short, that there are a couple of these hybrids, Pacific Life, Securian, that do pay 100% cash benefit. So of course, those are more expensive than the reimbursement style ones, just like anything else, but they do exist. So maybe that's what someone wants. There are clients out there that for whatever reason, they're not going to buy long-term care. you know, their brother-in-law, you know, who works, I don't know, works at some financial company, and he says, you know, they don't, you never buy long-term care. It's a dumb buy. It's a sucker's bet. So whatever. Some people have it in their brain that long-term care is just not a good deal. Therefore, they won't buy. So obviously, I don't expect someone to go try to sell them long-term care. Maybe they're a better hybrid product fit. Guaranteed paid up premiums. There's a lot of worry about you know, the rate increases with long-term care. I am going to address that, but remember, you do have 10-year plans that do come with paid up premiums or guarantees, so you can get there with long-term care still if you're worried about rate increases or paid up premiums. Sometimes you're a client that maybe is under 30 years old. I don't know, maybe it's a situation where, you know, grandma's buying long-term care as part of the estate planning. She's buying long-term care for all 12 of her grandchildren, paid up policies, whatever. Okay, so there are situations that a hybrid is going to be needed. It's going to be a required part of what we do in our industry. We have to have these products. Unfortunately, and this is the part where, if you've noticed under this presentation in the past, we had boxing gloves on here, you know, it's versus, and I don't want it to be quite that way. What I'm trying to find is these are the reasons I'm telling you, these are good reasons to sell hybrid products. It's why I'm glad they're a part of our industry. There are very necessary situations that we need to have a hybrid. They call for a hybrid, they make sense. Unfortunately, a lot of the marketing that goes behind these hybrids is a little disingenuous, in my opinion. You know, you see a lot of advertisements for them. They're saying, you know, the use it or lose it. You know, you buy a long-term care plan, you pay premiums for all these years, and, you know, if you die in your sleep, you know, those premiums are gone. And the first thing that jumps out to me is, well, you know, that's pretty similar to a car insurance policy if you don't get in a car accident, or your home or fire or tornado policy that, you know, if you don't have a tornado or a fire, you know, you don't get your money back. So, you know, it's an enormous risk. I mean, it's 100 times more likely than your house burning down, you know, needing long-term care. So it's an extremely important risk to cover. But there, be that as it may, people have the attitude of, well, what if I pay this $5,000 in premiums in for year after year after year? I die in my sleep, I never need it. So it's this use it or lose it fear. And I see the products advertised in such a way, you know, tell your clients don't like use it or lose it or never. And that's the part that just gets me, because, you know, if you know anything about this, if you've looked at these as closely as I have, and believe me, there are people in the industry that have looked at this even closer, you know, the Bill Comforts of the world, or some of the other folks out there that have been on this topic. And actually, I'm stealing this a little bit from Bill Comfort, because when you're using a hybrid to avoid use it or lose it, I can't tell you how bad of an approach that is. The simple fact is the life and long-term care hybrid plan is not the best solve for use it or lose it. You know, in fact, and again, I'm stealing this from Bill Comfort, if you know that, as he also breaks these down as far as not a great marketing way to go about them, but when you use a hybrid plan for your long-term care, you use it and lose it. You lose both. So, you know, it doesn't really solve the use it or lose it scenario. It's if anything, you lose both ways. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's discuss traditional long-term care stability first of all. So one of the first reasons people don't like the long-term care, one of the first objections you're going to hear, is that long-term care has rate increases. Therefore, you know, it's a lot more safe to have a guaranteed life contract. Well, and you know, the fact of the matter is long-term care plans have had a checkered past. You've seen a lot of rate increases on some of the older models, and that's largely because the companies just didn't have a lot of actuarial data to go on. Fact is, they had, you know, next to nothing. They planned for lapse rates that were 96, 92%. Well, it turns out that these lapse rates are now set at less than 1%. The interest rate environment, the long-range interest rate in this environment, in this country, went in the tank. Companies just aren't getting, and you know, with long-term care policies, they're depending, since the average policy is held for 29.5 years, somewhere in there, they're really counting on 30 years of investing those premiums before they have to use it. And so a little change in the interest rate over long term can really affect, and that's kind of what happened to long-term care companies, is that some of the interest rates having just, again, lowered a little bit, it really affected them. And so if you look at today's policies, knowing that they're using ultra conservative interest rate models, knowing that they now set the lapse rates lower than 1%, these modern day policies are extremely more stable than their predecessors from 10, 20 years ago. Again, they have millions of dollars and years of claims experience to go on now. Something I read somewhere, I think at one point Hancock was paying $7 million in claims per day. Maybe it was Genworth, one of the two. So we've had hundreds of millions of claims paid now. And so the Society of Actuaries actually priced this out. And as far as what are the chances that a long-term care policy has a rate increase? 20 years ago, in the year 2000, there's a 40% likelihood, the way they were priced, of having a 34% increase. Excuse me. And so now, 7 years later, they had a 30% chance of having a rate increase, around 18%. And then by 2014, 10%, of a 10% projected rate increase. The latest numbers I've seen on this are 5% chance of having even a 5% rate increase. In other words, they finally have the price of these things figured out. You can find this in Broker World article from March of 2017, a great article called "Too Legit to Quit," but just speaks a lot of things of where the industry's been. So that is something you have to deal with. You can get a paid up guaranteed premium with NGL, for example, if you're really nervous about it. But just based on my 25 years, I can tell you that the policies today are a lot more stable. The price has tripled on them from when I started selling them. So that just tells me they've got a little better sense on how to price these to begin with. So I'm pretty confident you're not going to see a lot of changes in rates, but it's something you shouldn't be aware of. And so, okay. What I'm going to do here is some comparisons. Let's see, I'm about 12 minutes after the hour. I'm hoping to do these comparisons in about 15 minutes or so, but I'm going to spend 5 solid minutes on the first one so you see exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll just kind of follow suit with those. And I think we're going to email copies I'll do, so I don't want to bore with you with slide after slide of the same numbers, but try to stay with me during this first example and then the last example, okay? And so just so you know, I'm going to use Columbus Life Insurance for my Universal Life. This is an Expedition Second to Die, actually, Universal Life. And I'm going to be using Mutual Omaha. And I'm using Mutual Omaha because in the long-term care arena, Mutual Omaha is #1 in national sales, and it is the Cadillac. It is the best plan going. Strong, stable, secure, everything you kind of want. But the biggest thing with Mutual Omaha that the other carriers don't have, because the prices are, again, pretty similar. With Thrivent, you can still get to a cash benefit you can add in there. Mutual has theirs built in. But the biggest thing with Mutual, and just again, for those of you that are maybe newer to long-term care, Mutual Omaha is a heck of a great plan. It has flexibility, which is important for what I'm about to show you. And it has the strongest home care benefits of any plan out there. And I do like the fact that, 80% of claims start at home. I want to have the best possible home care benefits I can, because that's what 4 to 5 people are going to use. So, and this flexibility, it allows you to do mold these premiums and design these policies in such a way that I can really match any hybrid out there by being able to create it, by playing around with the monthly benefits and the percentages that I use for inflation. I can basically match any benefit 20 years down the road, 23, 20, so you name it. So with Mutual, it's really a great tool to illustrate what I'm about to show you. Okay. So with that, this is something I put in a lot of my PowerPoint webinars, and I want you guys to see this because this is part of what I'm going to be doing. If you notice here, and I used to call this a long, skinny model here on the left. Years ago, when I first started selling long-term care, everybody sold, $100 or $150 a day, $4,500 a month, a 5-year benefit, and we put 5% compound on there. That's just what a lot of companies don't even have 3% compound. It's just everyone in the industry wrote 5%. Well, that policy maximum, if I take a 5-year plan times $4,500 a month, very simply, there's 60 months times 4,500. It's a pool of money of $270,000, and using 5% compound on that. Well, insurance companies, as time progressed, really increased the price of 5% compound. So now, it would triple your rate. If you had no inflation, you put 5% on there, a policy would go from $1,000 to, over 3,000. And so we started teaching people to say, you have to do a shorter, fatter design. And by the way, it actually saves you money. So I'm going to take the same, pool of money here, $270,000, but I'm going to do it over a $7,500 a month for 3 years. All right. Then I'm going to use 3% inflation. 3% of 7,500 is the same increase as 5% of 4,500. Eventually, the 5% catches, but stay with me. So notice I have sold the same exact insurance plan, just shorter and fatter, shortened it and fattened it up a little bit. 90% of claims don't exceed 2 years. So again, I don't mind doing this. I'm a big proponent of doing this. Well, lately with the last round of rate refresh that Mutual came out with, we're actually squeezing it, shortening it, fattening it even more. I'll put that monthly benefit up to 10,000 right away. I'll go with 1% compound. By the way, still same policy max here, 270,000. So all three of these are the same policy, just done in a shorter, fatter. And frankly, why wouldn't you want to have access to your money up front? Like people say, oh, I don't want a 2-year plan. Well, if I'm getting $270,000, I don't want it to be bled to me over a 5-year period. It'd be better to get it over 2 years. So I make sure that since 90% of claims only last 2 years, wouldn't that give me the best chance to max out my benefit on all these premiums I paid in? So anyways, this is another point, but notice I'm going to be using my examples. I'm using Mutual Omaha to its strength, but I'm using this short and fat method to kind of keep prices down as well and to show future values. Because by the way, 20 years down the road for this 60-year-old that I ran these rates for, the benefits pretty much work out the same 20 years from now. 11,009, 13,547, 12,000. So this long skinny idea is just a bad deal all around for folks. Okay, so moving on from here. I'm going to show you nationwide. And for here, I'm just going to back out. All right, because again, I'm going to spend 5 minutes on this particular, and then you guys will get the premise and we'll move forward here. So this is nationwide, very popular, Secure 2. Nice little plan. What do they call this one against? The Secure 2, I believe it's called. So Care Matters 2. So here's the premium, 17,000. So let's just take a look. Again, I got some numbers here so you can kind of check my oil, if you will. This is Stratecision. You'll probably recognize this. This is Jack and Diane. This is in Iowa. And this is, again, for a long-term or for a hybrid plan that has this one's going to have a long-term care benefit of $185,000. That's going to be a $5,000 a month long-term care benefit. Okay, so and by how Nationwide does this, if you die in your sleep and you never use this long-term care stuff, they're going to give you a $120,000 death benefit. Okay, for each of you. This is a husband and wife, so they each get $120K death benefit if they both die in their sleep and never need benefits. All right, so yay, they're going to solve that. Well, what if I die in my sleep and I never need this? Did I lose all those premiums? Yeah, you did. So then how do people go about solving it? They say, well, I can write this premium for $17,255 a year. And how I get that is I'm going to add, here's again, the $185,000 pot of money, $5,000 monthly benefit. Okay. Total long-term care benefit, $185,000, right? So I've matched that out. Premium here is $77.90 for him, $9,000 for her. To add those together, you come up with $17,255. Now watch this. Okay. If I wanted to have a long-term care benefit that paid me $185,000 and a $5,000 a month benefit, 20 years later, that's going to pay out X amount of dollars, and I'll show you this. So I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, I need a $120,000 death benefit. Now, I ran a second to die for a 65 and 60-year-old couple, and that premium was $21.74. Again, I'm going to show you this. Okay, so here's Columbus Life. This is a male, 65, 60, second to die, indexed universal life, survivorship index universal life, 65, 60 premium there, $21.74. All right, that's where I'm getting this number right here for. If you guys can't see this, I guess I apologize that I'm out of presentation mode, but I'll go back in for the other ones. So $21.74. The long-term care benefit here, all right, for that, I'm going to need a benefit of, now I did $260,000 at $7,400. Remember the shorter, fatter thing. When this pays out 20 years from now, you'll see the benefits are matched up exactly. So to get the same long-term care benefit that Nationwide is providing, my premium for the long-term care for this married couple is $64.25. Let me show you that. I think I can get there. So let's do $260,000. I'll do $7,400. I think I did one. Ooh, bear with me here. $64.25. Okay. So here's the $64.25. I did $7,400, $2,600, because then the future value, and I'll show what I'm talking about here. So now $64.25 plus $21.74, $8,599. To be fair, this is just one death benefit. Maybe this couple didn't need, to have more than 120,000. I mean, their premium is 6,400, so 20 years of that is about 120. So really, if I want to get their premiums back, if that's why they're buying it, is the fear of use it or lose it, then I really just need to give them a second to die. That's about 120 grand. But if we want to be, fair and compare it to Nationwide, I'm going to add 2 death benefits, 120,000 to each of them. And for that, I used, the UL again with Columbus Life, and I'll show you that. That's 2812 for a male at 65, 1629 for the female. Of course, the long-term care benefit's the same. I'm just trying to equal the 185 and 5. So if I, again, just to check my oil here, we'll take a look at here's the male, 65, Index Explorer Plus Universal Life, $120,000 death benefit, 2812. The female, here's female, age 60, 1629. Go back to the PowerPoint. So that's where I get the 2812, 1629. I add to my long-term care premium. I come up with 10,866. Almost 7,000 less, right? Considerably less. Nationwide, to be fair, by the way, part of why they're a little more expensive, in my opinion, they have this 20% guaranteed residual death benefit. So if you do die in your sleep, and if you use long-term care benefits up, they don't leave you completely nothing. They still give you $25,000 as a guaranteed death benefit. So I just wanted to mention that, to be fair to Nationwide. Okay. So how does this bear out then 20 years from now? In other words, what do I get for double the premium? Like, in other words, this care matters. Because again, I'm really worried about, dying in my sleep and getting my money back. So I'm glad I bought a hybrid so that doesn't happen to me. Well, so what happens come claim time is this. I'm going to go back into big mode here so you guys can see this better. Okay, so 20 years from now, average claims happen at 83. So again, 60, 65, we'll assume just 20 years down the road. The monthly benefit this thing is paying out is $9,030. I matched that up there with what I used, okay? The long-term care benefits got a little bigger in this one, but again, I've got a lot of premium to play with. I could increase this till my monthly benefit's $12,000 and this could be $400,000. I'm still well below in premium, right? I mean, I'm just smashing the premium here. But here's a big thing that I have to point out. You use up your long-term care benefit, guess what? You don't get the $240,000 death benefit, right? So it's an either or deal. So almost twice the premium, half the benefit. Think about that. How, for a client, I would rather pay $8,000 instead of $17,000. And that way, if I did use up my long-term care benefit at $9,000 a month for $300, and then I die after I use my long-term, I still get my benefit, right? And if I did it with both those, if I did the second to die, it was $8,000. If I wanted to add the second, and by the way, how often do people at that age really need the extra life insurance? They really don't. You're only selling the life insurance to avoid use it or lose it. So, I give them, and when you break these plans up, I got Mutual Omaha along with a standalone separate life policy. I get the benefit here and I get a guaranteed death benefit. Up here, if I use one, I get one or the other. So it's use it and lose it, right? It's not use it or lose it. With a hybrid, you're using it and you're losing it, all right? Because you don't get your death if you use it. I'm going to show you a little bit later here too. You're losing a lot more, not just your death benefit, but you're losing. Okay. So to drive this home again, half the premium and you get both benefits guaranteed, right? It's just a way smarter way to do that. Okay. And I could do this, by the way, I'm gonna move a little quicker now. This is Pacific Life. Now the way Pac Life does it, it's a 10 pay. Now this particular one, it's a $330,000 long-term care benefit with a $5,000 a month benefit. It's at 3%. And they also pay a $120,000 death benefit. If you don't use any long-term care, you die in your sleep, you get 120K. Remember, if you use your long-term care benefit, you don't get the death benefit anymore, but okay. The premium for a 10P on this, $44,000. So I'm gonna do that long-term care benefit for this couple. And again, I wouldn't do a $330,000 at 5K. That's a long, skinny deal. And by the way, you know why the companies do this, design it in such this way? And all the hybrids do this long, skinny design, because they know that claims 90% don't exceed 2 years. They're never gonna have to pay this benefit out. It looks great on paper, but this long, skinny design, as I showed you in that shorter, fatter slide, it's just the wrong way to go about it this day and age. You'd be silly to design a plan that way, okay? But they do, and this is the other problem I have with using a hybrid to solve a long-term care need. The long-term care benefit you're getting inside these things is nowhere near the quality of a long-term care benefit that you're going to get from Mutual Omaha, unless you're doing a cash only benefit, which, by the way, the Pacific Life is a cash benefit, but they also know they're only on the hook for $5,000 a month. You know, they're not going to give you $330,000 if you go on claim, right? They're going to give you at $5,000 a month, knowing that that's going to take 5-6 years. So they're not going to pay all that out. Okay. So for their premium, $44,000. If I add a long-term care premium of $12,000 and I add a life premium to that, because this is a second to die, it's $31.27 for someone on a 10-pay chassis. Remember, these are 10 pays. So my life premium is paid up in 10 years. Again, being fair here. My long-term care, I used NGL here because they have a 10-pay plan that had these benefits: $330,000, $5,000. The premium that was $12,000. The premium and the life premium was $3,000. Add them together, $15,000. If I want to do the double benefit thing, the double death benefit, to be fair, well, then it was $5,500 for an individual male to have a 10-pay life contract that pays $120K. For female, it was $3,840. If I add that to the $12,760, $22,121. Literally half of the premium. And what do you get come claim time? Well, same scenario here. I got the same monthly benefit. I got the same long-term care benefit. But if I use long-term care, I lose my death benefit with a hybrid, right? With the other ones, with this one, if I do have a long-term claim, I still have a guaranteed death benefit coming. And again, the premiums are half as much. So half the premium for both benefits guaranteed, twice the benefit, right? All right. So I have a couple more here. I'm not going to bore you with this. You know, this thing gets long when I do this. This is Securian hybrid, 10-pay, same thing, $21,000 versus $17,000 or $11,000. One America. This is a single female. I'm doing all married couples. Excuse me. So for a single female, again, 8,000 versus 5,000, 57 versus 4. So, you know, on a single female, 60, yeah, it's about 25, 30% more for a hybrid. I could maybe get closer to the argument for a hybrid there, but still, again, come claim time, it's one or the other. I don't know why you do that to someone. You charge them less money for separating the benefits out. All right. Okay, I want to give you now the whole story, and I'm going to kind of wrap up. I'm halfway past the hour here. I was hoping to get done by Q2 or a little less, or try to keep this to 40 minutes. I want to I've added a wrinkle here. And the slides, I don't know, I went through these a little bit, and if you'll notice some of the slides, I'm not the best at PowerPoint slides. I have a wonderful marketing partner in Lynn Voss who does help me with putting the slides together better. So some of these slides, if you notice, are a little bit, I don't know, sophomoric, rudimentary. It's because of my lack of, but she did clean up some of them for me. So, and I want to be a little cute here, but I want to tell a story about a married couple, Jack and Diane, right? A nice couple from right here in the heartland. I guess it'd be from Iowa is where we do the quotes. But I'm going to give you an example of doing exactly what I just showed you. And I'm going to go against One America here. I'm really going to dissect this one. And you know what? I'm going to dissect One America, not because it's, you know, One America is kind of the cat's meow out there. If you look at the hybrids, that's what the main one that people do and work for. And you know what? Good company. We also market for them. And for situations where it's a tax-free rollover or person won't buy long-term care or it's a health condition that I can't, I'm probably looking at One America. But again, if I'm just purely trying to get my customer that's worried about, you know, paying premiums and losing their premium dollars and never getting them back if they die, if I'm trying to solve that problem, well, this is how I would solve Jack and Diane's problem. All right, I wouldn't necessarily, if it's again purely a use it or lose it issue, then you got to look pretty hard at the comboing a Mutual Omaha along with a separate standalone Columbus Life. In other words, unbundling these things. Don't bundle them together. Separate the plans out. So a separate standalone Mutual Omaha long-term care and a Columbus Life, for example. If you have other life policies, they all work. I don't care what life company you use. I mean, I use Prudential in some of these examples. I got a Surety in there. I had Great Western was one of them, but you know, it doesn't really matter the life product you use. Okay, so Jack and Diane. Now this is a 65 and 60-year-old. Okay, Jack 65, Diane 60. This one, we're going to show you MedAmerica, a couple different versions. If you know anything about One America's plans, they have a base benefit of 33 months, and then they have this thing called the continuation of benefits. So it can be an unlimited policy. And some people will tell me they'll buy a hybrid because the hybrid has an unlimited benefit, right? So you can't get there the long-term care. You only get to 500,000. So I went about comparing these, all right? And so what I'm going to do here is, this is on the base benefit. If you know One America, what they do then is they have a $166,000 death benefit that, we're going to compound this at 3%. That works out to $5K a month for 33 months, okay? Now, if I want a continuation of benefits where I get that $5,000 forever, that's down here. So the One America for just the base benefit for this for Jack and Diane, it's $10,243. And the long-term care, if I want the continuation of benefits, then it's $19,153. So, and let me just show you these, because I'm going to actually, and for the life premium, I'm going to use Columbus Life again. I'm going to use, now with the One America, it's important to note that this is built on a second to die chassis. So you only get one death benefit of 166. I don't have to do two benefits for husband and wife, for Jack and Diane. I'm only going to do one for Jack and Diane together, okay? Important to kind of note that. So what I need then is a second to die quote then for $166,000. So I'm just going to hop out of here to show you what I've done here. So here, actually I don't need to. I bet we have. So just to again, check the oil. This is the second to die, Columbus Life, 65 and 60. Premium on that is $24.08. My long-term care plan, this is again, $500,000, $10,000 a month benefit, 1.5% compound. Because again, I'm going to net you'll see the slide here. I'm going to show future value. I'm trying to compete with the long-term care plan that's inside of One America. Premium on this is $10,556. Here's the asset care. You guys recognize these as well. The first one's just the base benefit, which is $10,243. The unlimited benefit for Jack and Diane here, $19,153 to have the $166,000, base amount. But then remember, at $5,000 a month, this is going to pay perpetually. Continuation unlimited. All right, $19,153. So there's all your numbers where I came up with them. All right. So the premium, remember, $10,000 for One America on the base benefit. Go back up here again. So if I combo these together, $5,500 for the long-term care, $2,400 for the life portion of that. So if I unbundle them, if I sell them as a standalone product along with a long-term care, my premium is $79.18 on that on the base benefit versus $10,243. On the unlimited, the big one. Now here again, I can't do unlimited, so I did a $500,000 shared benefit, 10K, 1.5%. Premium on that was 10.5, added to 24, 12,009. So some $6,000 some dollars less. All right. So how does it compare out? Take a look at this. So 20 years from now, they go on claim. One America is going to pay them $9,000 a month. It's going to have a total benefit of $299. And if they use that long-term care benefit, remember, they don't get the death benefit anymore. Down here, same benefit, $9,030 a month, $293,000 for the long-term care benefit. And if they do use long-term care, we don't care. We're still going to give them $166,000 of death benefit. And again, for lower, but this unlimited one was where it really gets more glaring. So 20 years from now, it's paying $9,000 a month. One America would be. That's for unlimited. So of course, if you use more than $166,000, you're not going to get your death benefit. So it's still an either or deal for all that money. But here, I started mine at 10,000 instead of starting theirs at 5. So my growth is up to 13,469 20 years from now. So I'm paying an extra $4,500 a month on top of this. I've only got a pot of money of 1.348 million because I'm sharing 674,000 shared. So, but really, since I'm picking up an extra year every 2 years that go by here, because this is paying 3 parts to 2 parts. So in my 6-7 years, each year double to 14 years, I'm picking up another 7 years. So this is like a 21-year plan. I told you 90% of claims don't go beyond 2 years typically. You start talking about more than 5 years for less than 1% of claims. Beyond 10, less than half. So you're talking about 22 years. You're pretty much, it's as close to unlimited as you're going to get. Okay, it's certainly maybe not worth that extra money. Okay, so that's the first part. I've done this. So essentially, this has costed that client how much money there. You get a lot more benefit. And by the way, the long-term care problem that you're solving, the benefits inside of a long-term care plan, the cash benefits, so you can pay family members, the One America is going to be a reimbursement model. Can't pay family members. You can't pay the neighbor kid who's shoveling the driveway. You can't. So, it just, you can't compare these benefits. One of them's guaranteed. So would you want a life insurance plan that didn't guarantee that it paid you? I mean, if it costed you, let's take a look at this. Okay. Look at the premium. See where it says life and long-term care premium? Life and long-term care premium. Notice the life is the same, right? We're just doing something different with the long-term care premium. But this life, to have a $166,000 death benefit, it's costing this Jack and Diane $5,248. What was the Columbus Life one? Oh, $2,408 for the same second to die life. So what's happening when I take the same product and I combo it together inside of the One America? Well, then that 2,400 becomes 5,200. So all you're doing is way overpaying for life, way overpaying, right? To kind of help fund this long-term care thing, which, by the way, the long-term care isn't nearly as good as the one you buy by separating it. So, and that's just the first wrinkle. Now, remember that the premium difference here is $6,189. So humorous. I'm going to say let's not spend that extra $6,000 per year, and let's invest that for 20 years at 5%. I mean, I'm being generous, but yeah, I think we'll find a way to get 5% out there, right? All right. So over a 20-year period, that costed Jack and Diane $214,000. So let's add that into our factor. Remember, here we're getting 1.38 million, or basically as close to unlimited you can get, and we're getting 166,000. So use it or lose it. Well, for here, when you use it, you're really losing it. It's use it and lose it on the hybrid deal, because you lose your death benefit. Because of the extra premium, you lost another $214,000, right? That you could have saved by going this route. But let's take it a step further. What if Diane tragically dies 7 years later? Sorry, I know it's a really happy story, but let's just humor me here. All right. With One America, it's a second to die contract. Jack continues to pay those premiums the rest of his life, the next 13 years. Well, with traditional long-term care, well, then of course, and maybe they put their survivorship on there, so both of them are paid up. I wasn't that nice. Let's just say they didn't. We're going to lose Diane's premium, right? And her premium was pretty lofty, right? It was $5,973. If you add that up over 13 years, that's $77,000. I went ahead and invested that every year though, and I got a 5% return. So my actual number on that then was 111,000. So again, this to avoid use it or lose it, you go into a hybrid and you get crushed. You're losing $214,000. If one of them happens to die, and by the way, people do die, both people don't always live to be 85, right? Sometimes people have strokes, heart attacks, breast cancer, things happen. So, when you're inside of that hybrid, you don't get your death benefit. You lose 166. You lose 214,000 in invested premium savings, and then the unspent premium when one person dies. That number can vary. But man, are you ever paying through the nose just to avoid? Matter of fact, look, if you add these up, $325,000. Well, that's twice the darn death benefit that you might get in case you die in your sleep and never need this. It doesn't make a bit of sense, folks. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there are better ways. There are reasons to use hybrids. The dead money, the old annuity life contract, the health risk. But I do see a lot of marketing that shows companies are trying to woo people over to these hybrids with, hey, your customer's going to use it or lose it. Drives me crazy, all right? Because you're losing so much when you go with the hybrid. Okay, I'm going to show you one more strategy, and then I'm going to wrap up. So I got to tell you one more thing here. It's almost 1:45. All right. So give me 4 or 5 more minutes, because this is kind of interesting. You want a quick and easy way to get out of this? This what if I use it or lose it? The cheapest and best way to do this, go back to my software here. This example here, I'm going to go back up to 500,000. Let me take this benefit back up to 500,000. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a $10,000 a month benefit. All right. You see this little 3 times? Actually, I have to go to, I'm going to make them both 60 now. Okay. They're both Jack and Diane the same age now. So Jack and Diane buy a policy. And by the way, I told you earlier, I'm not a big believer in using 3%, 5%. In this situation, I'm not going to put any inflation in there. I'm just going to go with a $10,000 to $500,000 benefit. Okay. And that premium for those folks, $6,800. All right. Let's just say at this age, average claim happens at 80. So about 20 years later, they're spending about, I don't know, I guess 6,800 times 20, about 120, 130,000 in premium. Actually, if I do 10,000, I'm going to knock the assisted living back here a little bit. Okay, 6,100. Okay. So I've done here then is about 6,000, so about 120,000 over a 20-year span. You see this little 3 times monthly benefit, which watch what it does to the annual premium here. And how this works, by the way, is you get, if you die in your sleep and never need long-term care, they're going to give you 3 times your monthly benefit here, 10,000. That's 30,000 each. So that's 60,000 total. So I get 60,000 back of 120,000 spent. So I'm going to get like half my premium back. How much does it cost me? Oh, $500, about $200 annually each. Where can you get a $30,000 burial for $200 for a 60-year-old? You know, I want one, right? So when you're buying long-term care, and this is just word of the wise, I'd be looking at this 3 times monthly benefit pretty hard. Pretty cheap little way to get them most of their premium back for next to nothing. I've been actually asking Mutual to ramp this up to 5 times monthly. And then I've got my own little mini hybrid right here, right? I can get people their money back for next to nothing. Instead of, remember, some hybrids would have you go from 6,000 up to 17,000 to accomplish the same thing. And frankly, not even really accomplish it because you don't get it guaranteed. So, okay. So just take a look at that. So if you have someone like, you know what, if they say, you know, what if I die in my sleep? You know, what we could do is I could give you half your premiums back if that happens, you know, for a couple $100 more a year. So anyways, take a look at that. It's kind of pretty impressive. All right, so let me wrap up here. Okay, so swap. All right, so that's the little 3 times monthly maximum benefit rider that really is overlooked. You know, it does have to be enforced for 10 years. Okay, and naturally it comes out of any claims you have. But remember, the whole thing is use it or lose it. If people use their long-term care policy, they're usually not too upset about the premiums, right? Just like a car accident, they're kind of lucky they have the insurance or a house claim or what have you. Okay, so this is for the use or lose it. Neat little thing. Okay, last thing on this, last point. This is my wrap up. So you need to change our minds about bundling. Seems like this country has gone bundle crazy. You know, I mean, I think of Flo and the team there at Progressive, and they're bundling their car and their motorcycle and boat insurance, and it's bundle, bundle, bundle. Right, you know, internet, TV, phone. You know, everyone's bundling everything. Well, in this situation, when you bundle it together, the life insurance doubles and almost triples in price. Doesn't make any sense. It'd be like having, you know, internet and phone, where the internet's $70 and your phone's $30 a month. But if I combo them, the cost of the phone goes from 70 to 210. That's not a good deal. Why would I put them together? That would be really a bad deal, right? So we have to somehow change our mindset to unbundle these products. If your people want their money back, sell them a little standalone life product of some kind, second to die or what have you. If you don't have one, Golden Care's got some options for you. So, you know, let's think about unbundling. And I know that we would all do this for free if we could, but there are commissions involved, right? So this goes back to, I think, my question earlier of why are so many hybrids out there versus long-term care? Well, here, by the way, on commissions, you know, traditional long-term care has, you know, a very large first year, but then it has that largest, you know, 2 through whenever, 2 forever pay, you know, 30 years with renewals. If you look at life, we have a large first year pay and it's a very, very small little back, you know, maybe 2 through 12, small, you know, payout. Hybrids, most of them just have one chunk when you get paid front end. There's nothing in the backside, but some have a couple smaller little, okay. But I averaged out about 10 of these plans against traditional long-term care. And so no matter what your pay is, I don't care what level of comp you're on, you're basically giving up about 33% of your commission by selling a hybrid. So customers losing, agents losing, who's winning? Insurance company. This goes back to my early question. Why are so many companies dropping long-term care? You know why? Because long-term care is killing them. The claims are killing the long-term care companies. The life and long-term care combo plans are very lucrative for the insurance companies. This is why they're all selling them now. This is why they got out of what's not profitable and they got into what is profitable. Remember, insurance companies are in the business and we want them to make money. We want them to keep their lights on. I don't want to bleed the insurance companies here, but so follow the money, common sense. What's a better deal for the client? It's not a hybrid, okay? Separate the plans out. Unless you have one of those unique situations that I've mentioned a couple times, but this whole use it or lose it premise as a reason to buy them is plain irresponsible. Can I say it? I've been doing this for 2 years. I don't think we're going to do this topic for a while, so I'll just hop on my soapbox. I'm kind of a fan of long-term care and the long-term care industry. Been in for 25 years. I do believe in the products that we sell. I feel like the hybrids are kind of, I don't know, taking over this industry and kind of forcing long-term care out. And I don't think it's the best thing for the client. And I think, we've been duped by the insurance companies as agents. I sold a couple of hybrids early on. I didn't think much of it. And I got to tell you, even in our own career shop here at Golden Care, we have controlled agents that they still sell hybrids. And I think part of this is some people like the ease, the simplicity, and I kind of understand that. It's not sometimes, making them take 2 separate applications when they're a little apprehensive, and it's just easier to take the one app, I hear people say. But then I kind of recoil saying, it's easier, but man, we're costing these people literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're not even giving them the benefits that they're guaranteed. So I would suggest that your customers can handle this. Unbundle it. And listen, if you don't want to try this, and for the life of me, I've had people tell me they love this. They go, this such an eye opener. Like, wow, Jeff, I didn't really realize that this is that's quite that. But then they go ahead and they write hybrid again, right? And I don't know what to do anymore about it. So here's one thing we're going to do. We have a form here, and I just dare you to use it. Like, you don't even have to go back to your client. I don't want you to walk away from a sale. This person's ready to write you a check for $17,000 a year. Great. Sell them the hybrid. Maybe that's what their financial planner told them to get, and so that's what you're going to sell them. All right. But do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do your client a favor. Fill out this form. Just tell us what the name of the hybrid you're looking at. The reason is that is like if Nationwide has that residual death benefit, or there's a couple of quirky things. If you're looking at Bright House's Smart Care, they're going to have, it's an indemnity or reimbursement. Just little things. So we need the name of the company. We just need whatever the long-term care benefit that they're building for you, the total long-term care benefit, and then the death benefit that's in there. And tell us what the premium is. We'll come back to you. We'll run a mutual. We'll put a life combo with it, and we'll add the premiums together. And just so you can kind of take a look at it. So that's a form that I think we're going to send out. It's going to be available on our website. That's all I got for you. I challenge you to unbundle if someone's doing the use or lose it theme. Okay. If I haven't made a bunch of financial planners and other people who sell hybrids angry, I apologize if I have. But it's just time to take a hard look at unbundling. Okay. All right. Thanks for coming on board today, folks. I know it's 45 minutes or 47 minutes here. I hope that was somewhat educational for you. It meant to be an eye opener. So any questions? Let me see what I got here. Okay. And someone, the same question I get a lot is the rate increases with traditional long-term care, which I tried to address in that, the site of actuaries is declassified long-term care now. Yes, the products of old are going to continue to scare people, and I get it. But I do feel, being in 25 years, I do feel like they have gotten more stable over the years, and I think they will continue to be that way, using the super good conservative interest rate models we're using. If the interest rates ever come back up in this country, the long-term care companies will actually be in great shape, and I don't see them having rate increases down the road. But okay, all right, that's all we got then, folks. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Thanks a lot for coming on board. Lynn will send a copy of this out. Otherwise, give us a call at the marketing office. If you have any questions, concerns, you want to put this into play, 800-842-7799, or visit our agent website for lots of great stuff. If you enjoyed this webinar, or maybe you can't make any of our upcoming webinars or podcasts, just look at goldencareagent.com. We have all our pre-recorded trainings and trainings similar to this one with other speakers if you don't like my particular style. We have all kinds of product with other directors, John Randall and Tom Randall, etc., and Jen Felton, and how to get, access forms, e-apps, marketing materials. It's all there at goldencareagent.com, or just give us a phone call, 800-842-7799. Thanks a lot for everyone coming on board today, and good luck selling.
Check out our website, goldencareagent.com, or give us a call at 800-842-7799.